Hi, this is Taimak, aka Bruce Leroy. Come to Permanently Geek. You'll get the glow.
How's everybody doing? Randy here. All right, I'm Randy from PermanentlyGeek.com. Are you guys excited? We're going to see The Last Dragon on this screen. Show of hands, who has not seen this film? No, one here. They're about to get the glow. This is the first experience for you guys. The Last Dragon Virgins, that's epic. Well, before we start, before we party, we want to take a brief moment of silence for Prince. Just a quick...
Yeah, just 10 seconds. Everybody just give a brief moment of silence for the passing of a great musician and singer and person, Prince. Thank you. Hip hip hooray. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna run. I'll come back out later for the Q&A. Anything else, Randy?
No, I'm good.
Just have fun. Be as loud as you want to be.
You all have the glow now, and hopefully you have some questions for this gentleman right here, because he has some answers for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Taimak.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just whatever you want. You know, ask me.
Fire away.
How long did it take to shoot the film?
It took roughly about, it's so long ago, I don't even remember the exact time, but I remember about a month and a half, and then they spent a lot of time, a long time doing post-production, meaning the different, because back in those days the special effects weren't done on a computer, so it was manually, and it took probably about 6 months before they finished the complete package. Yeah. Music.
What was the most difficult part for you during filming?
I never did a movie before, so martial arts. I was martial arts back then as well, and I just had the discipline to show up, to work and give it my all, and to let them direct me. I worked with Barry Gordy a lot, the chairman of Motown, and I think that just they helped me, yeah.
What scene was the most fun to shoot?
They were all fun to shoot, all of them. Every last one of the scenes were fun. The Chinese guys were cracking. Everybody, Vanity, it was all, I can't, not one. I think when I was in the dojo, that was one of the first scenes I shot, and it was really fun because I never went to a Asian temple and trained or anything. They made it look like a Asian temple. So yeah.
What style of martial art did you study? And do you still study it?
Yeah, a real martial artist never stopped studying. So I started when I was very little and stopped and then started again when I started in karate and I started again when I was around 13 with Aikido, but I wanted something that was more mimic Bruce Lee, and I saw Bruce Lee doing all these fancy kicks, so I started doing Taekwondo and kickboxing. I went to kickboxing tackle when I met with Bob Van Cleef, and there was a mixed style, so I've been in many different styles. I studied with Marcelo Garcia. We trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a purple belt from that style, but I do my own thing as well.
Right there.
First off, I just want to say I haven't watched that in like 15 or 20 years, and it's still as good as it used to be, man. And as I watch that and just see the martial arts soundtrack, the music, the special effects, I think about the 80s a lot. I see Vanity, rest in peace, Prince yesterday, rest in peace, and I'm sitting here thinking that is like the quintessential 80s movie, man. If I ever have to show my children and they ask me, like, what is a movie from the 80s, I think about that. Who directed that movie?
Michael Schultz directed it, and Barry Gordy had a lot of influence as well. Barry Berry Gordy, the chairman of Motown. He discovered Michael Jackson, all these Motown stars, Diana Ross. Yeah, I mean, that was an era that was definitely memorable if you're around in the 80s, and to have a film that, some of these films back in those days, they capture that time. This film definitely did. And I think what's great about it is adults, it was back then a PG-13, and adults have been showing their kids, because I think over the years, some of these, not necessarily good, video games have been a little too much of the violence. This is like nothing. So I mean, when they're really little, of course, Sho'Nuff scares, like my nieces, they were a little bit scared, but they were only 4, Yeah, 7, it's fine.
Awesome. One more thing, you know where I can get a Daddy Green's Pizza t-shirt?
They're making their own, man. People are making their own shirts. Everywhere I go, I see these shirts. He's got one on. Not a Daddy Green's, but.
Yeah, Sho'Nuff. Man, back in the 80s, we used to go around and say that so much. And it brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Did he have a karate background? Was he?
No, he was an athlete. He did some basketball, and we helped him with a lot of the martial arts. And he was just a great actor. And he didn't care, just show me a kick, I'll kick his butt. He was like, he definitely had the character going. Yeah, he was great.
So, a while ago, there was some internet rumors about you writing a script for a sequel.
Yeah.
Now, how true is that? And is that still in the works, or is...
Yeah, well, part of the tour, the autobiography, it has obviously my whole story, but at the very end, I thought it'd be great. I put some other snippets of scripts in the autobiography that are films that I wrote, but at the very end, it's called Guardians of the Glow. It's more of a reboot sequel. So it has elements of The Last Dragon. It continues a story, and then has some new characters, and it has a little bit of Asian vibe going on. It's I think it's pretty good. So read it, facebook.com/Taimak book. Let me know what you think.
I will.
How did you get casted for the role? You said you've never been in a movie before. How did you get chosen?
Yeah, I write it all. It's a long story, but that's in the book. The short of it is I never acted before. I ended up getting an audition. I didn't do well at all because I was way out of my league. I walked into a room and I thought I was going to do all this martial arts, but all they wanted to do is read this part of the script, and I didn't know how to do any of that. So they let me go, and then I was really upset, but I didn't give up, and then I ended up going back and I got the role. But that's a short story. It's a longer story. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I saw the movie when it came out in the theater. I was living in rural Pennsylvania, like in farm country for the most part. But I got my parents to take me to town to go see it. And the thing that really connected with me at the time was there was this young guy who loved Bruce Lee like the way I love Bruce Lee. Who had like the posters, so aside from all the action and adventure stuff that he was getting into, he was just this guy that felt like a little bit of an outsider because he was so involved in this martial arts culture. And that's one thing that always really connected with me, with that character that I love. And yeah, I think that's why it stuck with me, why I still love it so much to see it. Second thing I'd like to say, the way that Vanity delivered some of those lines to you, you had to feel something, the way she looked at you.
I mean, there was a lot of feeling going on. Yeah.
I mean, there was a sweetness.
Yeah, that's to be honest with you, that does, these memories are definitely some sentimental stuff going on there, I miss all of them, Yeah.
Any good stories about training with Ron Van Cleef for him?
You got the book?
Not yet.
You gotta get the book, man. I got a whole bunch of stories. But, Ron Van Cleef was a military guy, so it was very intense. And back in those days, in the early 80s, and stuff like that, New York City was a high crime area. It was very violent. So I wouldn't recommend doing that type of stuff. Now things are more, you know, there was a period where, you know, teachers were getting like sued for doing things. Now teachers are like, it's, you know, the students can't be treated a certain way. So it was intense, but it was, at that time, it, you know, was needed. You were living in a high crime area, you know, deal with stuff, you know. Yeah. In the back?
Did you get any props for the movie?
Yeah, I mentioned that before. Yeah, they usually in productions, unless they make your replica, they keep everything in case they need to do reshoots. And when I did the movie, did you think I knew I would be here 30 plus years later? You know? So it was like, I better keep this as a, you know, no, I didn't think that way, you know? Yeah.
There's another screening, so we can only take 2 more questions, and then we have to wrap it up.
Okay, you said you had no acting background, and I've heard from various, you know, actors online that it's very hard to cry on cue, but you in the movie
I was a natural.
tear like just like that, and I was like, he's never acted before. Wow.
I felt very at home acting. It was not, for me, it was natural, you know. You know, some things are natural, you know.
With the overwhelming popularity of the movie, did you get approached after the movie to film in other martial arts?
That's a long story. It'll take up a long time. It's a long story, man.
But did you get approached by anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Story.
All right, guys. Thank you, Pittsburgh. Thank you so much. I love you guys. If you'd like to book, please write a review on Amazon, and you can follow me on Instagram. I am Taimak, and Facebook.com, Taimak Book, and keep it all alive, baby. I'll be out there with the rest of these people, sign autographs if you need anything. I'll be at the table. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, folks, your questions, he's got answers, right there.
First, I'd like to start by saying thanks for bringing this to Pittsburgh. It's an awesome experience.
Thanks for having me. My publisher, Michael Conan at Incognito Books, if you want to send him a thank you as well, if you can. Just Incognito Books. You can find an email.
A lot of us have seen this movie like dozens of times,
Right.
right?
That's
But this is
everybody
the
I've
first
seen that's
time.
seen the movie. It's all
Yeah,
like that.
a lot of us haven't had a chance to see it in the theater, so thanks
Yeah.
for Hollywood for
Yes.
helping too.
Hollywood Theater's great.
Obviously, no one has really got to see it like this before, so it's extra special.
Yeah.
I did have a question. As you know, the last few years, Hollywood has been doing remake after remake and reboot. And The Last Dragon has, you know, been in the rumor mill for that. Is there any?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They tried, you know, years back. They brought that up, and it really got smacked down online. So it didn't have any feet. And they contacted me about that, but I didn't feel like, you know, in your gut you can tell something's not really gonna, you know. And I knew that, and I just said, you know, I'd like to get something going that's a little bit different, that fans would like, you know, because I was more in tune with the fans. And I wrote a treatment with another writer that's at the end of my autobiography that you can take a look at. It kind of ties things together without trying to copy the movie. So you let me know what you think, you know?
Right, Hollywood doesn't have the greatest track record with
Right.
reboots and remakes,
Right.
so that's great to hear.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I know this might sound a little goofy or whatever, but how amazing was it to have those great intimate scenes with Apollonia?
Apollonia. These Matthews,
I'm
man.
vanity, I apologize.
It was like heaven. Yeah, I write a lot about that in my book. You know, the whole experience with her and Sho'Nuff, all these cats. The whole experience in The Last Dragon. I write about that.
Great cast. we know that a lot of the cast members passed on.
Yeah.
Are you in touch with any of the cast members currently?
Still in touch with the Chinese guys and yeah. One of them actually moved out to Asia, and he's many years ago, and he's got a big theater group out there. The one who was Chop Chop, holy ass on this place. He was my favorite.
What about Ernie Reyes?
Ernie Reyes, we're gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna be in Dallas. Yeah, we're gonna be out there, and tomorrow I leave early in the morning.
He's still active. Him and his dad.
Yeah. We'll be out there screening like this at Draft House. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anybody else? Gotta give the back some love too, man.
This is my first time seeing the movie. I wanted to know, like.
Yeah, before she was like, why am I here? Who are all these weird people with smiles on their face?
I wanted to know how long it took you to train for the movie.
I was a martial artist all my life, you know?
I told her that already.
She had to hear it from me, though, I guess.
Back row.
Since this was part of your earlier work, are you able to look back on it with a sense of joy and fun, or is it sort of a thing where it was the 80s and it was campy? And
No, I get a lot out of you guys. I get a lot out of what I get from you guys, you know? That's what really, I don't need to watch the movie again, I could see why, I got it at more a deep level when I started going out on the last couple of years and doing screenings. And I sat down with the audience and I started to get it more because I was with everybody. But it's really being with people that really have passion for it. It's a lot of fun.
we're glad you shared it with us. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Imagine if it gets re-released one day. It's but this is my attempt at re-releasing it with my book. Yeah.
What was in the tank?
Everybody asks me that. If I have to tell you, I gotta kill you. It's a secret. That's since you were like a little kid, you needed to know that, right? He has to know. I can't tell you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I can't tell you I caught that bullet in my TV.
Stand up.
I'm a black belt in karate for Tung Sudo, and this is really inspired me. I'm a test tomorrow, and I just want to know, what's your favorite type of karate that you've done, or like martial arts? 'Cause I know you've done.
It's like the man or woman is what makes the style, really. So, I like all martial arts. That's just the way I feel about it. That's why I've done different styles and wanted to train with different people. As long as the style is, all worked out all its edges and corners. I love all martial arts. It's like food to me. It's really great.
It's life.
Yeah.
What does your name mean?
I write it in the book, but it's striking eagle. It's the more specifically, my father used to take care of a kid, but there was no internet back in those days. And when he moved and met my mother, there was no contact left with the kid. He couldn't find the kid, so he remembered kind of the way it was pronounced. It was actually Taimak, T-E-I-M-O-C. And when my mother had me, he named me Taimak. He spelled it T-A-I-M-A-K, but with A is pronounced A instead of A. So it's Taimak. It means striking eagle. It was an Aztec demigod that helped, like a Robin Hood type character that helped the poor. Wow. Yeah, that's what I read about. He actually, when he got older, he became a judo world champion. Taimak Ono. Yeah, he's really great.
So I got a question about how this relates to hip hop. If you take this film away, you don't have Wu-Tang Clan, then you don't have like subsequently like Man with the Iron Fist, you don't have Ghost Dog, a lot of like classic martial arts films that came in the 90s. And even now, you know, with the evolution of like stunt choreography and martial arts work, this film was still touted as like one of the dopest martial arts action films like ever, like 30 years later. So
That's because I'm a real martial artist. Like, everybody else is trying. Those guys don't train like that. They don't bleed. Trust me. They may bleed, but they weed. You know.
Absolutely. Like, how's it feel to know that, like, even 30 years later, like, even though the films have progressed, and cinematography in general, like, the impact that you left was indelible. So, how does that make you feel, like, when you come back and build with us about things like that?
Yeah, you know, this was a ensemble. You know, so. When I think about this film, I think about all the other stars that are with us and no longer with us. And I think about Berry Gordy, the chairman of Motown, that put all his sweat and tears into this, and Michael Schultz. And, you know, it wasn't just me. I mean, I know I'm the lead, but it was everybody. And, you know, it's everybody put their heart and soul into it. And I'm just really happy to be here without a cane. And, you know, how old are you, sweetheart? The one that asked me about that. You know what I mean? So it's just a wonderful thing, you know. We gotta give some other people questions. We'll get back because the other people are asking.
Was Sho'Nuff a like complete creation, or have you actually met people who dress like him?
In New York at that time, there were a lot of people like that were out of their mind. I write about one of them named Doc Williams in my book. That was real. Yeah, there was quite a few. Yeah.
So, what was your inspiration as far as getting into martial arts? Because for like a lot of people my age, I'm 30 right now, and our inspiration, people like you. So, what was your inspiration growing up?
Yeah, that's why I wrote the book, because I've read a long list of a lot of things about that. But superheroes from Batman and Robin and on down to Spider-Man, Superman, the Shaw Brothers movies. I write more details about that. When I was a kid, I would finish homework and then go to 42nd Street, which was the worst area you can go to. The worst, they had porn movies and karate movies for $2.50, and you could watch two martial arts movies back to back. But you don't want to talk to people in that theater. It was, but it was the only place you could find these kung fu movies, anywhere, So my father was pretty like, yeah, go out there, do your thing, I was a kid, but that's where I spent a lot of time, and those movies impressed on me because there was a lot of the Shaolin Temple films with Master Killer series. There was, Gordon Liu. There was so many. So in a way, I followed that kind of way of thinking. That inside you. It's an irony. I was born the year of the dragon. And yeah, and then this whole movie's about that. Finding oneself. So, I was definitely impacted by them a lot. Of course, Bruce Lee too.
Well, we definitely appreciate it because you helped inspire us.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I can. For the rest of my life, it's like a life journey to consistently grow and get better. So.
Right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a question up in the balcony.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had a balcony.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So while everybody here is a big fan and loves the movie and loves all the actors, I'm sure there's not, some unsubstantial group of haters who don't think that your acting is real and that. So
Right.
I'm sure you get tried. So when's the last time someone tried you? You had to let them know.
It's so funny, that you say that. You might have some online people, but it's funny how these days. It's funny how these days I think those people online are a little more reserved because they know there are other people who smack them down. In person, I don't get bothered much at all. People have I don't find that though. It's just interesting. I know, but there's not one person that's really gave me anything about this film all my life. online, you got some haters, but then there's people that are fans that give it to them. My publisher said, somebody said something like, why waste your time with Autobiography or something like that. Something like that. And then everybody was like, the internet's crazy, it's crazy. It's crazy, it's funny, And they got those new things on Facebook, right? The hearts and this, angry face,
In the story, there's not a whole lot of complex characters, but you got, Bruce Leroy, Eddie Arcadian, Sho'Nuff, Richie, Johnny. I just want to know, who's your favorite character besides Bruce Leroy in the story?
So besides, I can't answer that question. They're all great. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite is probably, that's got to be Sho'Nuff.
You better say me. You better say me. No, I love them all. I'm sorry. I love them all.
We can only take a few more questions.
Yeah. So, who would like to ask more questions? I know somebody doesn't want to go home and say, I should ask that.
What's your favorite role that you've been in, like in general?
Well, I did a lot of theater in the past 10, 12 years, and this was great because it was like a dream come true for me. It was what I always wanted. And then I did a show that was a comedy. It was a comedy rendition of the Patrick Swayze film called Roadhouse. So a lot of people know Roadhouse. So I'm in a theater, roughly, it was smaller than this, but basically a big stage, though it came out further, and they padded the whole the stage with thick rubber because there were fight scenes that I choreographed, and then they did a comedy rendition of the film, and I played the Patrick Swayze role with a blonde mullet wig on. And they hired some really good talent, and Ben Gazzara, who was the bad guy in Roadhouse, they got a guy that sounded just like him. And he had the exact same voice, but he was this big. And he walked around, Dalton, you want to make that mistake, but he was so small. And then the henchman, that was the guy that Patrick Swayze fought in, was this guy, like an Indian type guy with long hair, was this tall, And the bar owner had a big pot belly, and he was a really good comedian. He wore a Green Bay cheese hat, and he had a suit, and he'd walk around his belly, and he goes, Dalton. It was just a real funny play, and in the fight scenes, on the side, there were these big mattresses, and on the other side, big mattresses. So when I had to fight the little guy in the end, we were in harnesses with ropes. So we come out to fight each other, and then he come and he punched me, but I jump up and he punched me, and the actors in the back, they yank the rope, and I fly off stage, And then I come back out and do it to him, There was a lot of crazy stuff like that. The females, there was a couple of females in the play, and they would come out as men, so they walk differently, and they get in fight scenes, and the arm would be pulled off, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And the lines in the movie were exactly the same. I mean, the lines in the play was exactly the same in the movie, so we did dance numbers. So that was a lot of fun. I wanted, when he came to me with the idea, this is so ridiculous. And I just got out of a relationship with this woman, and I was like, I need a break. And I said, I'll do anything. And people loved it. It did real well in New York. Yeah. One more question, I guess.
So, once again, thanks for the movie, because it's my second most watched movie. First was Coming to America, sorry. But my question is, as being a martial artist, I did take martial arts back in the day when I was less fat. But
You're not that old, come on.
I know you did some commentating, I think, for the old UFCs back in the
Roughly,
day.
yeah.
Are you still a fan, or have you watched martial arts progress, and are you a fan of?
Well, that's more fighting than it is martial arts. I mean, there's an aspect of that's martial arts, but when two guys are telling each other how they're going to beat each other's asses, that's not martial arts to me. That's more like fighting. And that's only because they want to make money. They want to You know, like it's more like pit fight, you know.
That's right.
That's not what martial arts. Martial arts is a person that's able to face their fears, you know, and help other people do that in their community, you know, and be role models for young people and make the world a better place. That's, you know, martial arts is people that face their fears and fight through them, not only physically, but mentally, you know. You know, like I always say, you know, some people are great fighters. I knew a lot of great fighters growing up, but half of them in prison, you know, and then some of them are, you know, fighting in the streets or hitting their wives with it, you know. That's not a real martial artist, you know. So this is my answer. But I have a lot of respect for them as fighters. They're great athletes, you know. I trained with quite a few, and they're really good athletes. You know, they put their heart and soul into it. You know, so I enjoy watching some of the fights. I got a question for you guys. So my question to you is, I'm out here and I wrote this book, and I'd love to see something else like this or another great film like this. And what do you think that I could be doing that you may not see me doing other than this? Or is it this that you think I should do? More things like this come out more?
Take Roadhouse on the road.
Well, as far as what about social media?
To get the word out about events like this or future activities, like what drew you in, what got you here, what isn't being done that you think could help?
You know, like a 5-minute YouTube video of you with Bruce Leroy. 5 minutes, just like something funny to make people
Oh, okay.
like bring it back, like, you know, get Busta Rhymes in it to do.
I got you. That's a good idea. Any more?
A show of cheers. How many people want to see a sequel to this film?
On that note, thank you so much. I'll be on the table if you want any more pictures or anything like that. I'll be there. Or any more questions.